Hello, chess fans. Welcome to another episode of Chess Chat, a program brought to you live from the Rollstone Bank and Trust Studios at Fitchburg Access Television. I am George Merijanian, Program Director of the Wachusett Chess Club at Fitchburg State University. This club, the second oldest chess club in Massachusetts, meets every Wednesday evening in rooms 163 and 165 of the McKay Complex at the university. And with me today for this 205th episode of Chess Chat is our award-winning director, Darren Damon Fitchburg, recipient of FATV's prestigious Boulder Award in 2009, and now approaching his 20th consecutive year as director of Chess Chat. Assisting Darren in the control room and also on the set with camera work is our longtime Wachusett Chess Club member and fellow resident, Brian Bigelow, who also prepares the set for Chess Chat every episode. And sitting across from me is my longtime associate, trusty colleague, a chess author, a chess photographer, the Wachusett Chess Club's assistant tournament director, my co-host, Dave Kuchar, now a resident of Northampton, Massachusetts. Hello, Dave.
Hello, George. Good to see you.
Well, Dave, you made a long trip from Northampton today to do this episode of Chess Chat. And I want to thank you, and I want to thank Mike Camiso, the Wachusett Chess Club's chief tournament director, for doing the previous episode of Chess Chat, in which you two reported on the Massachusetts State Championship, known as the Massachusetts Open, in which we crowned a new state champion, FIDE Master Danilo Polyanikov. Again, my thanks to both of you for doing that previous show. Now, the show we're doing today, our 205th episode, is on a major event that no stranger to us won, somebody who we know very well, who's appeared on Chess Chat numerous times, Carissa Yip, who is now an international master and is now close to becoming a grandmaster.
One step away.
One step away. She has actually she's achieved 2 grandmaster norms, and she needs one more Grandmaster norm, and she'll be awarded the Grandmaster title by the World Chess Federation if she does that.
And she'll get a bonus.
And what is the bonus she will receive by becoming a Grandmaster?
She would receive $100,000 from Jean Cairns Sinkfield.
Right. And you mentioned the name Jean Cairns Sinkfield. We have a photo. I want to show a photo of Dr. Jean Cairns Sinkfield. There's a photo that we have of her, and there's a reason why we have a photo of, there it is, Dr. Jean Cairns Sinkfield, because the tournament that Carissa just recently won, was actually last month, was the Cairns Cup, the 5th Cairns Cup. This was a major tournament, it's a round-robin tournament involving 10 female players, 10 of the strongest players in the world.
In the world,
Yes. And Dr. Sinkfield, Dr. Jean Cairns Sinkfield, actually, this tournament is named after her. Her name was Cairns. And again, this started in 2000. The first one was held in 2019, and they held it in 2020. But in 2021 and 22, there was no Cairns Cup held because of the COVID-19 pandemic. But it was held actually in the past 2 years. And again, Carissa Yip won the tournament clear this time. Now, we want to present to our viewers all the 10 participants in this year's Cairns Cup. So let us start actually with the player who finished actually in 10th place in this tournament, and that was a player from the country of Georgia. We have a photo that Darren's going to show of Nino, Grandmaster. She's a Grandmaster, Nino Batsiashvili. And she's 38 years old, and she scored, of the 9 games she played, it was a 10-player round robin, she scored 3 points out of the 9 games she played. And she finished in 10th place. Now, we're going to go to the player who finished in 9th place. and that is Grandmaster Zhang Yitan, who's a former women's world champion. Yeah, and by the way, Zhang Yitan here that we have, who's 34 years old, she won the Cairns Cup last year, the 2024 Cairns Cup. She was the winner, but this year she finished, however, in 9th place with 3.5 points out of 9. Okay, let's go to the player who finished in 8th place, another grandmaster, and this is Maria Musicuk. Maria Musicuk, who's also a former women's world champion, she scored 4 points, and she is from Ukraine, and she is 32 years old. Okay. And again, she finished in clear 8th place in this year's competition. Now we actually had 4 players who finished for 4th through 7th, but let's start with one of them, and that's international master Alina Kashlinskaya, who was born in Moscow. She was born in Moscow, Russia, but she has been playing for Poland. She's now plays for the Polish Chess Federation, and she's 31 years old, and she scored 4.5 points in this year's competition. Another player who also scored 4.5 points that we have a photo of is international Bibisara Asavoyeva, who is from Kazakhstan, an international master, not a grandmaster, but international master from Kazakhstan, and she's young, 21. She's 21 years old. Bibisara is. Also scoring 4.5 points in time for 4th through 7th was Grandmaster Humpy Canero. Humpy Canero, there she is, Humpy, 38 years old, one of the oldest players in the tournament. And again, she scored 4.5 points. And she's from India. Humpy is from India. And by the way, she also she won a previous Cairns Cup in the series. And the last person to score 4.5 points, scoring for 4th place and 7th place, here is Grandmaster Anna Zagnidze, and she's from the country of Georgia, and she's 38 years old. So we had a number of 38-year-olds in the tournament, and Anna Zagnidze was one of them with 4.5 points. Now we get actually to clear 3rd place in the tournament, and that was Grandmaster Harika Dronavali. There's Harika. Grandmaster Harika Dronavali, 33 years old, from India, and she scored 5 points out of 9 to come in 3rd place. Now we have the youngest player in the tournament, who is one of the favorites in this year's Cairns Cup, and that is actually 15-year-old Alice Lee, international master, and she is from she lives in Minnesota. She was born here, and she's a resident of Minnesota, so she's homegrown, and she scored 5.5 points to finish 5.5 points.
Clear second.
And she clear second. She came in clear second with 5.5 points. But coming in clear first with 6 points out of 9 was international master. Here she is, Carissa Yip, who won the Wachusett Chess Club Championship here at Fitchburg State University in 2014 with a perfect score. She won all 7 of her games in the tournament. And again, she won this year's Cairns Cup. She's also the current U.S. Women's Champion. She's the reigning U.S. Women's Champion. She has won this 3 times. Now, the U.S. Women's Champions is going to be held later this year, and she will be back to defend that title later in 2025. But she actually, Carissa now is taking time off from Stanford University where she was going to school. She lists now Florida as her residence, but she actually lives in St. Louis. She is now a resident of St. Louis. She listed Florida as her residence because that's where her father Percy lives. And again, it was her father. If it were not for her father, Carissa would not have come to the Wachusett Chess Club at Fitchburg State University and joined us at the age of 7. She joined us.
And he used to play as well.
What? Oh, yes. Her father
used to play.
Used to come. When they were living in Chelmsford, Massachusetts, they would come every Wednesday night. And again, she has become now the #1, the highest rated female chess player in the country. And again, needs just one more Grandmaster norm to to become a grandmaster.
Get the title, yeah.
Okay. Now, you have well, actually, we asked Carissa. We asked Carissa.
Right.
Of the 9 games, actually, I don't know whether you want to report on how Carissa did actually, what her sequence was.
Well, we probably should, because her first 2 rounds, she lost the first.
Yes, she lost her first game.
And then she got a draw.
Right.
And I remember thinking, well, she's playing in the big leagues now, so
yes.
This probably is not going to be.
She's playing against former women's world champions.
Right.
Yeah.
And I figured she's probably not going to, this is probably not going to be her tournament.
Right.
And then the next 2 rounds, she won 1 and lost 1.
Okay.
So after 4 rounds, she had a win, 2 losses, and a draw.
Right.
I was thinking, yeah, she's not even at 500.
Right.
And then,
yes,
to everyone's surprise, she won the next 4.
She had a hot streak
Against,
yes.
World-class competition.
Yes, who are some of the players?
Humpy Kanaru.
Right.
Bibisara.
Who's a multi-time champion in India. Yep.
Nana Zagnidze.
Yep. Of Georgia.
So going into the final round, she was actually, all she needed was a draw.
Only a draw.
Only a draw, and she was playing her friend Alice Lee.
Right, and they're good friends.
They're very good friends.
Yep.
And whoever.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So at that point, so if Alice had won, she would have finished in first place.
Right.
And would have gotten the Grandmaster norm.
Alice would have got a Grandmaster norm. Right.
Whereas for Carissa, all she needed was a draw.
Right.
To clinch it, and they ended up playing, I think, over 100 moves. It was an extremely long game.
Okay, all right.
So Carissa,
too long for our chess chat program.
Carissa kept pushing for the win when all she needed was a draw. Which
so she pressed for the win, but it was not.
Couldn't do it, but
okay. So, anyways, the game that we're going to present to our chess chat fans is a game played in round 6. Against Zhang Yitan,
right? Yep.
Who won this Cairns Cup the previous year? Yeah, one of the top female players in the world, a former women's world champion.
Right.
Again, so that is the game we're going to present to our fans. And who had white in the game that we're going to present? Was it Zhang Yi?
Yep.
Okay, Zhang Yitan had white in the game. So how did Zhang Yitan open her game against Carissa in round 6?
She opened with D4.
Okay, all right. And of course, Carissa.
Second most common opening move.
Exactly, a very common move. Okay, now to which actually Carissa responded with knight to F6. She develops the knight to F6, a good move. Another possibility was D5, which is, again, are the 2 most popular moves. It's either D5 or knight F6. Among the most popular, reply.
The point is to stop white from just pushing to E4.
Yes, it does. The knight F6 stops white from playing E4 immediately. So, all right. So it is now Zhang Yi's second move. What does she do?
And she plays a move that's not that common. It's becoming somewhat more common.
Yes.
Normally, C4 is probably the most common move.
Or even knight F3.
Or knight F3.
Those are 2 good moves. Yep.
But in fact, she plays knight to C3.
And what is she threatening now with that?
Now she is threatening to push E4.
All right. And because that is the threat, after playing knight C3, Chris is going to prevent that by playing D5 on her second move.
Right.
So she plays D5, which stops white from carrying out, putting another pawn in the center with E4. Okay. All right. So this is Zhang Yi's third move. How does she continue?
So she continues with bishop to F4. So this is called the Jobava London.
Is that what it's called? Okay.
Yeah, so this is a fairly, within the last decade has become more popular. A lot of players are playing the London where they put the bishop on F4, the pawn on E3, and they just have a very fixed setup. They play the same first 6 moves every time. So it's something that's very popular amongst beginners because you can just play these 6 moves, pay no attention to what black is doing.
Okay.
But This is a variation of the London that's supposed to be more aggressive.
Yeah, and the London system is actually in the D4 opening is when white plays the bishop to F4.
F4, yep.
That's why they call it a London system.
Yep.
And Jobava is I mean, I've heard the name. I have no idea.
I think a Georgian grandmaster.
A Georgian grandmaster from the country of Georgia.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's named after him because he probably popularized it.
Right, within the last decade, and it's supposed to be a more aggressive version of the London.
Okay. So in response to bishop F4 by Zhang Yi, Carissa now played a move which is rather interesting.
Yeah.
You would not expect this move by Carissa, but you would expect, well, she played A6. Now what does this move do other than move the pawn? But that must have come as a surprise to Zhang Yi to
Probably.
see A6.
It has been played.
It has been played before.
And it's a standard move in the Knight or Sicilian.
Well, if you're going to carry, I mean, possibly maybe carry out B5.
B5.
And fianchetto the light square bishop.
Sure. And it also keeps, white pieces off of this square.
That's right. It controls the B5. Black is in control of the B5 square. Okay.
But it probably was a bit of a surprise to Tan.
So how did Zhang Yi continue with her fourth move?
Standard E3 to open up the diagonal for the bishop.
Okay, that makes sense.
Now that she's gotten the bishop developed, she's not worried about blocking it in.
Okay. All right, and now, okay, it's now Carissa's fourth move. She now plays pawn to G6.
Yeah.
So that's right. So we see what her plan is. By playing G6, she plans to fianchetto that dark squared bishop.
Right.
No doubt. All right.
And much more common here is to play E6 and develop the bishop this way. Usually,
right. Yes.
Usually
keep
to
the
B4.
bishop on the diagonal, the A3 to F8 diagonal. But all right. So she played G6. So what does Zhang Yi do now on her fifth move?
Just simple development, bishop to E2.
Okay. Now she's placing it passively on bishop E2. I mean, she could have played at the bishop D3, which is a little more active, but she's holding back. At least it's developing a piece, bishop E2. All right, so Carissa now, move 5. She continues with her plan of fianchettoing the dark squared bishop and plays bishop G7. Okay, that's her move. All right. It is now Zhang Yi's move. How does she continue? Does she play that knight on G1 to F3 or something else?
It's a pretty aggressive move, and I think it's part of this Jobava London. I think H4 is typical.
But because White has a plan, what is White's plan? What is White's idea?
White would like to just completely open up the king side.
So that's the threat.
Possible. That's the threat.
So by playing H4, White's threat is to advance that H pawn to H5.
One more square. Yeah.
Okay. So Carissa sees that naturally and says, "I'm not going to allow that."
Right.
So her response is to play the pawn to H5.
Right.
Which stops the advance of the White's H pawn. Okay.
That's a pretty automatic response.
Automatic response, yeah.
She probably didn't think very long on that.
No, that was probably a very quick think on Carissa's part.
Right.
All right. Is now Zhang Yi's seventh move. How does she continue?
Now she continues her development. Knight F3.
Okay. So she has now already 4 pieces developed. All 4 minor pieces are all developed here. And now Carissa responds by playing the pawn to C5.
Right.
Okay. Now, any comments on this?
Yeah, so I did print out the annotations from chess.com, when they do the report the next day after the round.
And they had commentary.
And the annotator said, in this specific position, this natural break is not good.
Oh,
so
really?
that's a fairly natural move to make, but he said, that's all he said is it's not good in this position.
He's not good. But did he give an alternative?
He didn't give an alternative, but I think just castling would have been fine.
Yeah, castling. Yeah, it was nothing wrong with castling immediately.
Yeah. So
the annotator, the chess.com annotator, didn't like it, but didn't actually give it an alt.
Right.
Yeah, but the only other alternative I see is castling for black. Okay. Yeah. All right. It's now Zhang Yi's 8th move, is it?
Yeah.
What does Zhang Yi do? Well, wait, that pawn is there for the taking. Does Zhang Yi take that pawn on C5?
Yes, she does.
D takes C5.
So it's a gambit.
All right, it's a gambit. D takes C5. Well, why would Carissa do that? Why would she play C5, offer the pawn on C5, without knowing that she's going to get that pawn back? and she will get it back by playing what she did, Queen A5. Queen comes A5, pins the knight on C3, but actually is attacking the pawn on C5 with the threat of recovering the pawn by queen takes C5. All right. So what does Zhang Yi do now in response on move 9?
She plays a move that's not the best. The annotator said that castling was much better.
Oh, really?
And it's the variation that he gives. It's fairly complex. We won't be able to go into it.
All right.
But basically,
they thought castling.
After castling, if black takes here, this queen could get into trouble on that square.
All right. Okay. All right.
So castling was supposedly by far the best, but instead she played knight to d2. And she's going to be bringing this knight over to harass the queen.
And the annotators probably think that's a waste, not necessary, to redeploy the knight over to the queen side to gain a tempo on the queen, attack the queen, and force the queen to move.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a very normal move.
No, I find nothing wrong with it.
Right.
I find nothing wrong with Zhang Yi's knight d2.
The commentator did say that on castling, he says you have to see, and he gives a line.
Oh, okay.
So he said, so he's basically implying it wasn't easily seen.
Okay.
But,
all right, so after knight d2, Carissa responds by taking the pawn on c5.
Yep.
Queen takes c5. So she's got her pawn back. Okay. All right, so it is now Zhang Yi's 10th move. And what does she do?
So
naturally,
she follows through with knight to b3.
Okay.
Hitting the queen.
Okay. Is this what we call it, gaining a tempo? Would you consider this? A tempo is actually when you gain time.
Right.
You're gaining time. You're forcing now that queen to move again.
Right.
Now, where is that queen going? Where does Carissa now redeploy that queen? Well, she decides to play it to b6, not to a7, and not to c7, but to the b6. All right. To keep an eye. Just to be positioned there. Okay. Queen b6. Good move. I see nothing wrong with queen b6.
Right.
All right. It is now Zhang Yi's 11th move. How does she continue?
So now she castles.
Okay, now she castles. All right. Now Carissa plays on her 11th move the pawn to e6. Now, what this move does, by playing e6, we are now shutting in this light. One thing, we are shutting in this light squared bishop here.
Yeah.
With the queen on b6 blocking the b pawn here, we're actually making very difficult for this bishop actually really to really gain play other than bishop d7 is the only square.
Yeah.
And,
but the pawn was attacked twice.
That's true. Yeah, it had to be defended.
It had to be defended if you want to lose it.
So it had, right. Why am I saying this? It had to be defended, so e6 was the natural defensive move. Okay. All right, it's now Zhang Yi's move, her move 12. What does she do in response?
So she plays a4.
Is there a threat? Does white now with a4 have a threat?
I think she's threatening to push and...
Yes. So there is a threat to advance, attack the queen, and force the queen to move again.
Gain space, push the queen back.
Gain space, and gain time. All right. So what Carissa did was develop this bishop on b8
the knight,
the knight, playing the c6. Now we actually no.
It's just development.
It's just development, right? Exactly, right.
Because the pawn's defended twice.
That's right. So
So she does push.
She does push the pawn to a5.
Yeah.
All right. So the queen now has to retreat, and the queen now Carissa now plays the queen where it came from originally, back to d8. So here, how many queen moves have been made here? A lot of queen moves here. All right. So the queen has been driven back to d8. It is now Zhang Yi's 14th move. How does she continue on move 14?
She plays knight to a4.
Now, is there a threat here? Is she threatening to sink into b6?
I think she just wants to put it there
attack the rook.
Leave it there.
All right. Okay. So that is a threat. All right, so it is now after knight a4. Here is where Carissa now plays knight on f6 to d6. She's redeploying here, this knight. Okay, knight here to d7. Okay, so this is rather interesting.
So I think she commented on it. She must have commented on it in the interview afterwards. She felt like she was getting counterplay here because she's hitting this pawn twice.
Oh, wow.
With the queen and the knight.
Well, that's true. With the knight on e4, it's being blocked. Yes.
And she's hitting this pawn.
All right. So we have
moving the knight out of the way.
Two pawns are being attacked simultaneously here on both sides of the board here. Okay. So after knight d7, which Carissa did, how did Zhang Yi respond to this move?
Yeah, so we can one thing we can say is Zhang Yi is way ahead in development. I mean, because now she's going to play queen to d2.
Yes.
She's pretty much done development. Her rooks are connected.
Right.
Whereas Carissa, it's going to take at least.
And she's got a bad bishop. This is a very bad bishop here.
It's going to take like at least 4 moves to get her rooks connected.
Exactly. All right. So Zhang Yi played queen d2, as you said.
Yep.
So Carissa said, okay, I'm going to get this pawn that's loose over here. Queen takes h4, the pawn on h4. So she has now won that pawn.
Right.
Okay.
So her compensation for being behind in development is that she's won a pawn.
One pawn for being behind in development.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. It's now Zhang Yi's 16th move. How does she continue?
So rook on f to d1.
Okay. Because the rook staying on f1 has no future staying on f1.
Right.
It's much better being actually redeployed, centralized with pressure on the d
she'd
pawn.
Probably like to push, a pawn forward to put pressure.
Okay, so it is now Carissa's move, and what Carissa said, well, it's time for me to castle.
Yeah.
And that's what she does. So that's Carissa's move. All right, that's very good. All right, now let's move along. Move 17 for Zhang Yi. What does Zhang Yi do now? It's now move 17. What is?
So the annotator said that after this move, which he gave a question mark exclamation point, so it's dubious.
Oh, you mean this next? You mean Zhang Yi's move?
Next move. He said black is better after it.
Oh, really?
And one of the suggestions for a better move was to have played c4 here.
Attack the pawn on d5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she did it this way.
Okay.
With e4. And so he's saying that black is actually better now at this point after this.
Okay. So Zhang Yi was better off playing attack the pawn on d5 with the c pawn instead of with the e pawn.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what Carissa did in response to e4 by Zhang Yi was to advance the pawn d pawn to d4.
Right.
So we moved the pawn on d4 as her move. Okay. All right. Okay. That's rather interesting. Oh yeah. Okay. But it's defended adequately. We've got the knight here on c6. Bishop. All right. So it is now Zhang Yi's 18th move. What does she do now?
So I guess actually. So I mean, looking at it now, it's attacked 3 times, it's defended twice.
Right.
The problem is that
after
everything's exchanged off, black would nab the bishop.
Okay.
So she can't take the pawn right now. So she plays c3 to attack it again.
So she's attacking the d pawn with the c pawn this way. Okay.
Yep.
So e5. All right. So what she played? What you said that she played? What c3? All right. Well, Carissa says, "Oh, no problem. I'll just advance the pawn to e5, defend that pawn on d4, but also attack the bishop.
Also attack the bishop. Also open up.
Oh, now we're gonna solve our bad bishop on c8 by advancing the pawn to e5.
So now Carissa solved all her problems.
Yeah, sorry, this is a problem solved already.
Yeah.
Which Zhang Yi allowed. Okay, so the bishop now has to move, and it moves back
to g3, hitting the queen.
Okay, the queen is now under attack. So Carissa has to move that queen to save it, and the queen now comes all the way back to e7. So she comes back. Queen e7 is Carissa's 19th move. Okay, it is now Zhang Yi's 20th move. What does she do? Well, I see the pressure on the d pawn.
Yeah. So she captures the d pawn.
Okay, c takes d4, and Carissa says, okay, fine. I'll just recapture it with the e pawn. E takes d4.
Yeah.
So we'll take e takes the d pawn on d4. Okay. All right, so now we reach move 21 for Zhang Yi. And how does she continue here?
The annotator here says that.
What do they like?
That this rook here his comment was the rook here.
Yes.
And the bishop to here.
Yes.
And this knight to here would have been more tenacious, is what he said.
Okay. All right. Exactly.
But,
because it doesn't make any sense to have the rook over here blocked by its own pawn.
Right.
It's a more active file to be on is the C file for that rook. Okay.
Instead, she played bishop to c4.
Bishop c4. Okay. All right. So in response to the bishop c4, which Zhang Yi played, Carissa says, I'm going to attack with this bishop with h4. h4 attacks the bishop. It's protected by the queen on e7. So the bishop now has to save itself. The bishop on g3 has to move.
Pulls back to h2.
h2. Which allows Carissa now to take a pawn. Another pawn. Queen now, queen takes e4, and now wins this pawn.
Yep.
So,
and the annotator said here that Carissa now has a winning advantage at this point.
Well, she's 2 pawns ahead.
She's 2 pawns ahead.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. So this is an advantage, having a material advantage of 2 pawns.
Yep.
However, what does Zhang Yi do? Attack the queen?
Rook e1.
Rook e1
the queen.
So the queen has to move again to save itself.
Again, it's a lot of queen moves.
A lot of queen moves by Carissa. But she plays the queen to f5. So she plays queen f5 on her 23rd move. Okay. All right. So what does Zhang Yi do now on her 24th move?
Again, pulls the bishop back to hit the queen again.
Hey, might as well attack the queen again.
Yeah.
We're having fun attacking the queen. So the queen has to move again. And Carissa now plays queen to d5. So now we're here over to queen d5. Oh, wow.
So the queen,
wow. We're now attacking
knight.
An undefended knight on b3. So Zhang Yi has to save that knight.
Right. So
she does it.
Rook a3.
Okay, which is good. Yeah, because it could activate that rook and get that into play.
Sure. Sideways.
Sideways. It's like an old rook. It's a rook lift where you bring it up, defend the knight, but also use that rook to redeploy it on the king side. All right, so that's a very good move by Zhang Yi. But Carissa says, you know what? I'm going to continue my aggression.
Threaten checkmate.
Right, exactly. So she advances the pawn to h3, which again attacks the
threatening checkmate in one
move.
move.
Wow, there is, yes. We are now threatening, yes, you're right. Checkmate on queen takes g2 would be checkmate. And of course, Zhang Yi cannot allow that.
Right.
So she has to defend there, right?
And the annotator said that Carissa's playing the top move on every move right now.
Okay.
So she threatens mate in 1, of course, pushing white back with every turn. So
okay. So how does Zhang Yi respond to this move of the threat of checkmate on the move? She
interposes the bishop
and defends
that,
attacks the queen. Once again. Attack the queen and defend the pawn on g2. Okay, how fortuitous. Yeah, right. Okay, so Carissa, it's time to move the queen again to safety. So Carissa now plays the queen to h5. So the queen comes over here to h5. That was her 26th move.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move it along. And now
I think we've got
plenty of time. Okay, so we don't have to move along. But now, what does Zhang Yi do now?
Bishop to f3.
Oh, she's having great fun attacking that queen. If we count the times that queen has come under attack, we've lost count. So the queen now, which is under attack now, the queen has to move. Now this next move, well, the queen has not too many squares to go to, but Carissa says, hey, I'm going to play it all the way back. Why not play the h8? Now with the queen, now the bishop, we got now 2 pieces, putting pressure down here, but of course, this is adequately defended by the knight on a4 and the queen on d2, so there's no threat of winning another pawn because white is adequately defending the pawn on b2. All right, so there's now Zhang Yi's 28th move, is it? What does she do?
So she can't attack the queen anymore.
No, that's right. The queen is very safe on h8. There's no attack on the queen now. Okay, so Zhang Yi continues with what?
So bishop d6, now hitting the rook.
Right, exactly. Right. All right. So now this next move, I think we showed this game to amateur players or beginners.
including me.
They would actually the instinct
would
save that rook.
Certainly be just save the rook.
Save the rook by moving the rook. Moving not here because it's going to be taken by the rook, but the only square to save it is actually for the time being is here. Instinctively,
my rook's attacked, so I should
inexperienced
move it.
Players would actually would want to save the rook by moving it to the only square.
Even experienced players.
Even experienced players.
I probably wouldn't think for more than 5 seconds, and I would just
do
plop
that
the rook there.
Especially if you were in time trouble, you'd make that move quickly.
Yeah.
But what Carissa did.
This is a beautiful move.
Yes, Carissa left that rook there.
Yeah.
Attacked by the bishop on d6, and instead played this knight on d7, not the knight on c6. She played the knight to e5. Knight de5 was her move. Wow, that's amazing.
That is.
But it's a beautiful move.
It's a beautiful move. Now she's activating her bishop.
The bishop is now activated.
Activating this knight.
Right, and again we have it. So this now is activating the piece for aggressive play here.
Yeah. So I would say a move like that. First of all, someone at my level wouldn't even think of it.
Wouldn't even think.
But even if I did think of it, that'd be a very difficult judgment to make. As to, do I want to give up the exchange for piece activity? That's a hard call. But That's why she won the Cairns Cup.
Right. Well, what Zhang Yi did after Carissa played knight d5, she took the rook on f8. Bishop takes f8. Okay.
That's certainly nothing wrong with that.
No, and what Carissa did in response to that was simply just take back bishop takes f8 here.
Yeah.
So bishop takes f8. So Carissa now has given up the exchange.
Yeah.
She's given up a major piece for a minor piece.
Yep.
Okay. So it is now Zhang Yi's 30th move. And what did Zhang Yi do now on her 30th move?
Well, this knight. Oh, actually, it's
is
not
it
that.
move? Yeah.
No, this knight.
The B on b3 moves. Yes. Now
c5.
Now, is there any comment?
No comment.
No comment on this move.
On that move.
All right. Okay. So after knight c5, Chris says, you know what? I'm going to take this pawn on g2 with the h pawn. H takes g2. So she takes there. Okay, won that pawn. All right. And of course, what Carissa does, Zhang Yi does, she just recaptures, right?
Takes back.
Bishop takes g2 is her move. Okay. All right. All right.
Now this is an interesting move here. This is actually. So Carissa's move is actually a mistake.
This is a mistake. Her move coming up is a mistake?
Yeah, and the commentator said that this is the one mistake that could have cost the full point, potentially.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, all right. We'll play it, and then we'll discuss actually what. Let's play the move that Carissa played. She played the bishop, this poor bishop, which was to stay undeveloped, just like the rook on
the
a8.
whole time, right?
Whole time. This bishop now, Carissa now plays and develops it to g4. Okay. Now, but the annotators or the annotator did not like this move. They consider this move a mistake.
Yeah. So if she had simply put it here, it's a nice safe square where it's defended.
Right.
The issue with this move is it's more vulnerable to getting attacked here. Now the next move is a good move, rook to g3,
which attacks the bishop.
Which attacks the bishop.
So now this rook now has now been deployed by white on the king's side, and is now attacking Carissa's bishop. All right. So with the rook on g3, Carissa decided, well, wait a minute. I want to hold on to that bishop, but I want to defend. I want to defend that bishop by playing queen h5. So the queen moves to h5. Is her move, her 32nd move, was Carissa's move.
Right. And now here's where Tan had a chance to possibly get a draw.
Oh, really? Okay.
But they. It's difficult to see because the annotator points out that
is there a threat? Actually, isn't Carissa by playing this? Is there a threat of playing the knight f3? And I'm saying no. Actually there is. There is actually here check.
Yeah.
And if there's exchanges here, if that bishop lands down here, we got a mate threat of the queen down to h1. Is there a mate threat on blacks? Isn't Carissa actually threatening with knight f3 forking the king and the queen, forcing the exchanges here.
Yeah.
With Carissa's actually, well, there would be no bishop. There'd be just exchanges here. So there's right.
So the only move for Tan to get back in the game would have been
to eliminate that knight?
To have taken here.
Okay.
And the commentator says, it's a difficult thing to see because right now she's in the mode of defense.
Okay.
And you're not thinking of getting rid of this.
Right.
This
you would hold
piece.
on to that bishop.
This is helping defend.
Right.
And you wouldn't even think of taking this piece on the other side of the board.
No, you would want that bishop for defensive purposes.
But it's the only chance she had, and it would have. The line would have been that basically all the pieces would have been exchanged.
Okay.
I don't.
So it's complicated. This is actually not
fairly
easy.
complicated.
This is not easy to.
What move number is this now? So
okay.
This is 33.
Well, bishop. But Carissa's bishop g4 was 31. No, I'm sorry. No, bishop g3. No, this is actually a move 32 was the last move. Carissa played queen h5.
Yeah.
That
so
was,
if she had taken here,
right,
and then black had taken back,
right.
Now. The rook could take here.
Okay.
And after the queen takes,
all right,
the rook would take this bishop. This rook, and basically everything would come off.
I see. So there'd be massive exchanges here.
Massive exchanges,
but no danger of white getting mated.
Not getting mated, but very difficult to see. And I think the biggest psychological problem is that you're just not thinking of getting rid of this defender.
Right.
So it would have been difficult to see.
Okay.
But it was her only chance to get back in the game.
So instead of playing, she did not play bishop takes knight on c6. She played what the Zhang Yi played on move 33.
Knight e4.
Knight e4. Okay. All right.
Bringing this knight over to defend.
All right. So what Carissa does in response to that was now this bishop on f8 comes to e7.
Right.
With looks like the possibility of playing the bishop over to h4 could be a nasty threat.
Right.
Yeah, with the attack on the rook. Yeah. So she's redeploying that bishop to e7 with a threat. So what does Zhang Yi do now on move 34?
So queen f4.
All right. Okay. So we got that threat. All right. Now here's where Carissa, again, being the aggressor she is, plays f5. She plays the pawn up to f5. This pawn now is attacking this knight on e4 for one thing.
Yeah, I think she probably had to do that because otherwise the threat is, do we have? So yeah, it takes. Well, yeah, White would probably give back the exchange to eliminate the checkmate threats. I think.
Oh wait a minute. Okay, I see. Okay,
so this is
Okay,
defending the bishop.
All right. So after f5 by Carissa, Zhang Yi plays what?
The comment here is that Tan had very little time left.
Right.
And with the little time left, he calls this a losing move, f3.
So the commentator is saying this is a losing move?
It's a losing move.
Okay.
She had little time left, and it says Carissa didn't hesitate and played her next move.
Which was f. The f pawn takes the knight on e4. F takes e4 was Carissa's move, which she did, and this is where Zhang Yi now responds by taking f takes g4. So she gets the bishop, and of course the pawn is now attacking the queen, and the queen has to save itself. So Carissa now goes to queen h4. All right, so. And again, everything is defended here. So queen has h4 is what Carissa played. What does Zhang Yi do now?
She takes
so
one of the pawns.
She gets one of the pawns. So how are the pawns here? We got 3 pawns here versus
Carissa's
one. So Carissa actually has what? 1 pawn ahead?
1 extra pawn, but she's down the exchange.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. She's down the exchange. So All right. So after bishop takes e4. So this is where, this queen is going to be embarrassed. having its here
Right.
defending the rook, but it's going to come under attack
Right.
by Carissa, who plays rook to f8 and attacks the queen.
Right. So the last piece she hadn't developed.
Yeah.
She develops now.
And how does one actually save the queen, which is under attack? How does the queen save itself, but at the same time save the rook on g3?
Right. It doesn't.
It doesn't. It can't do it.
So just desperate moves now. Bishop to d5, check.
Okay, check. So the king, so Carissa solves that problem by just moving out of check.
Moving the king.
By playing king g, up she comes, king g7 is her move. And of course, Jean-Yves realizes, I cannot save my queen.
Can't save the queen and protect the rook.
All right.
So she simply grabs the rook on f8.
Right. Check, with check. And of course.
Not what she wants to do. But.
And Carissa now has two ways to take back, either with the king, but she takes back with the bishop.
Yep.
Bishop takes f8 is her move.
Yep.
All right, so we're now approaching move 40 for Jean-Yves. And, this rook is under attack.
Rook's under attack, so king to g2 to defend the rook.
Defend the rook. But of course, this allows Carissa now simply to take the pawn on g4 with the knight.
Yep.
Knight takes g4. Okay, we have some nasty threats here. Knight takes g4, and of course the threat is actually, no, there's some nasty threats. What Jean-Yves does now is, does she not attack that queen?
Attacks the queen again.
Which stops any queen takes queen h2 check for one thing.
Yeah.
All right, so after rook h1, what Carissa actually does not move the queen.
Right.
Because the only move she would have to save the knight is coming here. But she does a check. Knight e3 check is her move. Okay, is that correct?
Yep.
Knight e3 check. And what does Jean-Yves do now on move 42?
So king f2.
Okay. Now I sense there might be time pressure here.
Well, definitely with Tan.
With Tan.
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 She's definitely under time pressure.
Tan is in time pressure.
Yeah,
okay,
I don't know what Carissa's situation was.
So after the king moved to f2 by Jean-Yves, Carissa says, okay, I'm going to go back and check again. Knight g4 check is her move. Okay. And what does...
so she just repeats.
Yeah, because he still has to stay around and save that. Can't move away from the defense of that rook. So the king moves to g2. And here is where Carissa just plays queen g5. And after queen g5, Jean-Yves resigned. Why? What's the threat? Is there a threat here?
She's down lots of material.
Right. And there's also the threats of coming in with check here.
All kinds of attacks.
There's all kinds of attacks. Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, she's down material.
And she was probably very low on time at this point. Very low on time. And she resigned.
All right. So this is a 43-move game that Carissa won in round 6. And again, after she won in round 6.
She won in round 7.
7.
Then she won in round 8. And then she just needed the draw. In the final round, and she got it.
She got it. And she won. And as a result, she won the 5th Cairns Cup, and we congratulate Carissa on that. Now, after this game was played, after this round 6 game was played against Jean-Yves, Carissa sat down with Grandmaster Yasser Seirawan, who's a frequent commentator at events held, especially when the men play, at the St. Louis Chess Club.
Right.
Now, the commentators for this Cairns Cup were not actually Yasser, he usually has a woman co-host.
That's right.
But Yasser actually took what his role was actually just doing interviews.
Just interviews.
Yeah, right. He wasn't doing really analysis.
Right. Yeah, they had three women.
3 women who were doing analysis of this.
Yeah.
So, but our director Darren Dame has an interview that Carissa conducted with Yasser Seirawan, who, by the way, Yasser Seirawan came to Fitchburg, came to the Wachusett Chess Club in 1984 and performed a simultaneous exhibition at the Wachusett Chess Club when the club at that time was meeting at the St. Joseph Club on Oak Hill Road in Fitchburg. That was 1984. When Yasser came and did a simul. So we're going to present, Darren's going to present actually this short video clip of that interview.
Which came right after this game.
Came right after the game was played.
Right.
So let's go to that clip,
Okay.
the video clip of the interview with Carissa Yip by Yasser Seirawan.
I'm here with Carissa. Carissa, what happened today?
It was a crazy game,
It was.
I have to say. She surprised me out of the opening, and I was feeling a little quirky, I guess. So I went for this like A6, G6.
Right.
Now A6 kind of turns out to be quite a weakening move later on in the game. And I definitely wasn't feeling very good out of the opening. She had a huge time advantage. But after A4, A5, knight A4, these are all very logical moves. After knight D7, suddenly like two of her pawns are hanging. And when I took on H4, I was pretty sure I had some counterplay for my totally closed-in queen side.
Right.
And then the game just kind of got a little out of hand after that. I think she tried to sort of open up the center a bit to take advantage of, my rook on A8 and my bishop on C8 doing absolutely nothing.
Right. Well done, by the way.
Thank you. But then her king turns out to be pretty weak, and then I had this knight E5 move that suddenly like freed up all of my pieces. I had to sacrifice in exchange for it. But as soon as like this knight gets out to E5, the bishop on C8 comes into play. It's very difficult for white to play, I think.
Were you, be honest, were you trying to earn style points with the move Queen H8 because of Alpha Zero? Did that cross your mind?
I have to say, Queen H8 was I don't think Queen H8 was a very good move.
No, it wasn't.
But Queen H8, I'd seen this from afar, and I was like, Queen H8, the queen, the bishop on the long diagonal.
Right, the battery,
yeah,
wow.
I love playing with my bishop on the long diagonal, so if I could throw my queen on there too, I always gotta.
Right.
Yeah, but not a very good move, I think.
No. A very big win for you. You take down the defending champions, take down the #1 seed. How are you feeling?
I feel good.
Despite not feeling very well physically, you feel good.
Yeah,
you feel good.
Allergies.
Allergies.
Allergies, yeah.
Yeah. But no, seriously, Carissa, you've climbed your way back in the tournament. You're a serious threat for the last 3 games.
Sure hope so.
Sure hope so. Had a nice free day?
What did I do that free day? Yeah, it's pretty good. Alice and I went out for ice cream again. It's a bit of a tradition.
Right.
At this point, so that was a lot of fun.
Right.
I also got brunch with Tan.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I had my dad keep her occupied for like an extra 2 hours. I went back early, so she couldn't spend too much time to prep,
Clever.
Exactly.
I love it. Shrewd. Keep up the good work, Carissa.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
So that was Carissa Yip being interviewed by Grandmaster Yasser Seirawan.
Yeah, so just one thing that occurred to me when they're mentioning her allergies is
Yes.
at the ceremony where they presented her with the first place trophy, she mentioned that in the first couple rounds she didn't feel that good. And she said her father even suggested that maybe you should just withdraw, and she said she decided to just power through.
All right.
And powering through apparently worked very well because she won the tournament.
Won the tournament.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like actually to let us recap for the players the sequence of the games actually Carissa played. She lost in round 1. You have the list actually of who she played in each of the rounds.
Not everyone, but
okay, but she lost round 1 because of her allergies. No doubt had played a role in losing round 1.
Yeah.
So she lost that. She ended actually with in the end 5 wins, 2 draws, and 2 losses. Was that?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you have actually some of the people that she beat? Do you have the listing of actually those she beat?
That she beat? I have the 4 in a row. It was Nana.
Oh, Zagnidze.
Yeah, and then Tan. The game we just presented.
That was round 6.
Then Humpikinaru.
Humpikinaru of India.
India, and then Bibisara from Kazakhstan.
Right, Bibisara from Kazakhstan. Right. Okay. No, I'm saying that, again, she was playing against some of the strongest women players,
Right.
especially when you had two former women's world champions
Right.
among the participants. Again, Zhang Yitan, whom she beat, who, by the way, Zhang Yitan was world champion from 2017 to 2018. So she held it for 1 year. But a couple of years before then, from 2015 to 2016, Maria Muzichuk, who was from the Ukraine, she was women's world champion in those years. So she faced actually women's world champion, but she faced grandmasters. I mean, she, again, who are the only international masters like herself in the tournament were Alice Lee, 15-year-old Alice Lee.
That's right, yeah.
And there were two others, Bibisara Asaboyeva of Kazakhstan is the international master, and Alina Kashlinskaya, who was, again, I said, was born in Moscow but plays for Poland. She's also international master.
Right.
So she played actually a stronger, higher rate. She played.
So we should mention that she and Alice Lee were the two lowest rated.
So they were ranked.
Players.
They were rated 9th and 10th.
9th and 10th.
And they finished first and second.
Yeah.
Whereas some of the top, for example, Muzichuk,
Former world champion.
Muzichuk and Tan. Interesting that the two former world champions, women's world champions, Muzichuk finished 8th place. Yeah. And Zhang Yitan finished next to last.
Right.
So that's quite a reversal, having two, and they had to be favorites. Those two former women's world champions, Zhang Yitan and Maria Muzichuk, had to be two of the favorites in this tournament with higher ratings. Yeah. As I say.
Do you want to mention why Carissa's not on the show today?
Yes. Let us tell our viewers with the few minutes we have remaining why. We gave Carissa the opportunity to appear on the show as she has done in the past via Zoom. We've done shows via Carissa live on the set, but we've also done shows via Zoom. Why was she not available to do Zoom this time?
Because she's competing in the Women's World Cup in Georgia.
In the country of Georgia, Batumi, Georgia, which is a seaside resort on the Black Sea, and she just couldn't
she was playing today.
Yeah. So that's rather difficult to do this chess chat, live via Zoom, and also play in a major world event held by the World Chess Federation in Batumi, Georgia. Yeah. But unfortunately, as we learned today, sadly, that this was a knockout tournament, which is not the usual type of tournaments that are held in world competition. Usually they're either round robin, usually mostly round robin tournaments. Like the Cairns Cup. The Cairns Cup was a 10-player round robin, and you stay in. I mean, you don't get knocked out if you lose a game. If this were the case, if the Cairns Cup had been a knockout, Carissa would have been knocked out in round one, and it would not have been around to win the tournament.
But she did well. She made it to the third round.
Yes, she did. Right.
And she was playing, I think, I can't pronounce the name, Vashvili or Vashisali of India, who's
Ramesh Babu of India, exactly.
Who I think is number 9 in the world among women
in the ratings of women players.
And they played 2 classical games. I think they were both drawn. And then they had to do playoffs. It was today. And I think they drew the first 2 rapids.
The rapids.
And then the third round, Ramesh Babu won. So then Carissa in the final round had white, and she had to win.
She had to win.
So she had to play risky. And, as a result ended up losing. So, but I mean, she certainly acquitted herself well.
Very well, indeed. As I say.
And she was the last American in the competition. So.
Well, we hope our Chess Chat fans enjoyed the game we presented. Carissa's win against Zhang Yitan from the Cairns Cup, and we congratulate her on a stunning victory at the 5th Cairns Cup, which was held, actually hosted by the St. Louis Chess Club. And we thank Jean Cairns, the wife of Rex Singfield, in actually sponsoring this event. And we hope to see our viewers next time for the 206th episode of Chess Chat. Stay tuned for the next episode.